Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our series. Today we're making this dude even more cool. So let's get started. The thing we actually want to do today is make it so he can destroy blocks. That's the main thing. To do that, we need a couple animations for him digging, and we also need to edit our script so he can actually remove blocks. So let's open up our animation tab. If you don't have this open, you can go Window, Animation, and Animation. It'll bring it up. It's not doing it for me because it's open. Anyway, then you want to click on your dude. It'll bring it up, and you want to click this drop down, say Create New Clip. We're gonna call this, put it with all the other animations. So let's call this Dig, maybe. Let's call it maybe Hit, because he's hitting the block. Because we'll probably use this for like sword combat or whatnot as well. This one is a very simple animation, so let's open up our roots dude and let's hit the red button. So what this animation is going to be, it's his arm, this one. At 0, we want its rotation on the Z to be maybe, interesting. Okay, we'll fix that in just a sec. We want it to be maybe up here. So minus 200 looks good. And then over 1 second, over 1 minute, we'll bring his arm back down to about here, maybe. So this is minus 20, let's say. So let's hit play. And you can see he's doing it. So very similar to how Terraria's digging works. Hit the red button to stop that, and then turn off preview. Go back to your project window just so you don't mess with that again. And we want to make it so our head, at the moment it's at 1. This should be, what's our body at? Root 0, order and layer. Cool, we'll make our head order and layer 0 as well. Cool, now save that. In our animator tab, if you don't have this open, again, you can go to Window, Animation, and then Animate Tool. It'll bring it up. So now we just have to have this hit animation. So the way we're gonna do that is by saying, firstly, a new parameter. We need to have a bool here called hit, all lowercase, just to make your life easier. And we'll put it from, thinking any state can go to hit. Let's say any state can go to a hit. Click this. Has exit time should be off, and you want to say for this one, hit true. So if hit is true, then it's gonna do this hit animation. I'm gonna make the speed maybe 3. Actually, maybe 2. 3 might be too fast. And then from hit, it can go back to idle, or it can go back to walk. So it can go back to idle if turn off exit time. It can go back to idle if hit is now false and horizontal is less than 0.1 and horizontal is greater than minus 0.1. Therefore, he's moving. Or it can go to walk if horizontal is greater than 0. And turn off exit time as well. And then if hit is false, you want to add that condition. And then right click, hit again, make transition, click on walk again. You get 3 arrows now. Turn off exit time again. This one is going to be horizontal less than 0. Yep. And then hit is false as well. Cool. So now the only thing we have to assign is this in our code. And then our player should be hitting. So if we open up our player controller, cool. So let's fix this up. First thing we want to do is create a public bool hit here. Scroll down to your update function, which is right here where we set all our animation parameters. So we're going to say, not up there, anim.set bool hit to hit. And now we just have to set the value of hit. So hit up here, hit equals input.getMouseButton 0. So that is left click. If we say 2, that is right click. So I'm going to say left click is hit, and then, sorry, So 0 is left click, 1 is right click, and then I believe 2 is middle click from my recollection. But that should be fine. Let's open up Unity and this should work perfectly. Let's get rid of that error. That's pointless. We don't care. And let's hit play. Awesome. We're in, and when we hit, our guy is moving his arm, but nothing else is happening. Interesting. Also, our camera stops perfectly. That's very nice. Also, when we're clicking and walking, it doesn't seem to work. But his arm is kind of stuck. Let's fix that animator. So any state can go to hit if it's true. Hit is false. Hit is false, right? That's fine. Hit is false as well. Interesting. Hits. It has a loop time. Okay, let's drag and drop our play route here and see what's happening. So it should be working, but it is not. Okay, let's have a look. Let's hit play, and then I'm going to go to our animator. Is this playing? Here, let's put our animator down here just so I can see what's happening. Let's click this guy. Cool. So it is forever going to hit, which is very interesting. Okay, let's change this up a little bit. Let's change our animator. We won't say from any state. We'll just say from idle for now. So make transition hit, and this will be if hit is true. Turn off exit time. Let's test that. Okay, so now this is working better, as you can see. He's actually hitting it. That is fantastic. Except, yeah, so at the moment he can't, he's not really walking while hitting. So we're going to add that now. So to fix him not hitting while he's walking, we're going to have to create a new animator layer. So we're going to call this arm. So to create a new layer, make sure you're here. So this is parameters, these are layers. Press plus, go to arm, and then we're going to say Control X. Excuse me, Control X. Okay, fine. Control C, delete that. Control V. It does not want to work. Okay, in that case, let's just say we'll drag up our animation tab. Sorry, our animator tab up here. And then let's just pause this real quick. And then I'm gonna drag and drop our hit here. Okay. So now if I hit play, how's this gonna work? Alright, so you can see that now when we walk, he is hitting. Issue is he is always hitting. So now how do we fix that? Very simple. We're just gonna have to create a state empty. This is gonna be blank, no motion. We're gonna set this as layer default state. Drag and drop, make transition. So right click, make transition, select the transition. Has exit time is off. Conditions is gonna be hit is true, and then right click hit, make transition to blank. And this, make sure exit time is off. And this is gonna be hit is false, right? Yes. Control S, save that. Back to your thing. So this is what your first layer should look like, layer 1. And this is what your second layer should look like. Quite simple. Go back to the game, press play, and now our dude should be able to hit and walk at the same time. So we can hit normally. Animation is a bit slow. If I walk, I can still hit. Fantastic. But yeah, let's just speed up that animation. So I might make that maybe speed 3. Let's try that again. There we go. So that looks a bit nicer here. Nice. Okay, cool. Very nice. Whoa, that is some interesting terrain. Hold up. Oh wow. Okay. Anyway, so that's that done. Now we just have to make it so we can break blocks. So, oh, we got an error. What's this? Cool, we don't care. Let's open up our Visual Studio. Head over to the terrain generation script. Scroll all the way up where we declare variables. Right here, this list contains the position of every single tile. What we have to do now is create a private list of type game object, which is going to be world tile objects equals new list of type game objects. And this list is going to contain the object of every tile. So to actually add it here, we have to make sure we add whatever tile we add to world tiles, we have to add it to the same world tile objects. So scroll down, you'll see that here, we're saying, not here, place tile. We're going to add it right here. So new world tiles.add. We're going to control C that line, control V. This is going to be world tile objects.add, and we're going to literally get rid of this, and it should just add new tile. And then what we have to do is underneath player controller, we want to create a public vector2 mouse position. So this is fine. Spawn pos, we're going to say hide in inspector. I believe I did that before. I don't know. That's a bit confusing. I'm going to move mouse pos all the way up to the top just so we see it first. And underneath our update function, we have to set mouse position. So how do we do that? We're going to say mouse pos equals camera, I believe. Camera.main.screen to world point. And we're going to put in input.mouse position, I believe. So let's test that. It might not be correct. It's giving us an error. Where? Why? All right, extra bracket. That's fine. Get rid of that. Go back to Unity. Any other errors? No, that's a warning. Warnings are fine. Cool. Cool. Now we have a mouse pos vector2 here. Let's hit play and see how this works. So it should be 0, 0 should be close to the middle of the screen, I believe. Oh no, that's correct. No. So our player is at 4360 and our mouse is right on our player. So yes, this is correct now. Right now, you can see that our mouse pos changes depending on the world position of our mouse. So basically, all we have to do now is get the tile at the mouse position and remove it. Quite simple. We just have to round this to, the nearest one. So on the player controller, mouse pos equals that. That's fine. Vector2 int mouse pos equals that. Is that going to give us an error? Yep. Mouse pos.x equals this dot x. Except this is going to give us saying cannot convert float to int. So mathf.round to int this. Cool. And then we're just going to duplicate this line. So control CV and then change mouse pos.y input there .x .y. Cool. And now if I go back to Unity, mouse pos should work in integers. And if it doesn't, then Unity is wrong because we're correct. And it is correct. Cool. Now every time I click, I just have to create a terrain generation method here. So this we have our public void place tile. We need a public void remove tile, which is gonna take in an int x and an int y. And then we're just gonna copy this if statement that we have because it's gonna do the exact same check. if not world tiles dot contains, it has to be if it does contain, and if it's within the world borders. Otherwise, if we click outside the world size, then it's gonna give us an error. So now we just have to get the positions. So I think it's world tiles dot index of new vector2. So it's a vector2 item. We're gonna pass in new vector2 x and y. So that's gonna return us an integer, but we have to say world tile objects, and that's gonna be our index. So that's gonna return an integer, which is our index. So we're gonna say game object dot destroy this. All right, that's a big chunk of a line. Oh, we don't need this here. So we're destroying the object of this index, and the index is gonna be got by this. Easy, right? That's a very confusing line, but it makes sense. Trust me. The only thing we have to do is call this functions every time we click. So right here, input if hit, then we're gonna have to receive the there should be another hide in inspector public terrain generation. In fact, let's not make that hide in inspector. We'll retrieve it. Terrain generator, and then we're gonna say terrain generator dot remove tile at mouse pos dot x and then mouse pos dot y. Cool. Now, if we head back to Unity, the only thing we have to set theoretically is our terrain generator script. So open up your player controller script, drag and drop your terrain object here. That should be fine. Go to overrides and say apply all. That should be, wait, hold up. Apply all, please. Save it maybe and then apply all. Why aren't you applying? Excuse me. Alright, it doesn't want to work. That's fine. I'm just going to press play. And theoretically, this should work. It might give us an error. Okay, so it is working, but it is off by 0.5. Yes. Okay, yeah, so we're adding the tile at the position by negating the 0.5. So in our player controller script, I believe, when we round it, I think down here, yes. Method of round to int x plus 0.5f, y plus 0.5f. Let's see what that does. I think that might be it, but it could very easily not be it. Okay, no, wrong way. Minus 0.5f. Now hit play, and I think that should work. Otherwise, there's like a slight offset to the tiles in our mouse, and it just feels very awkward for the player, which is not nice. But this should feel a bit more natural. So yes, when we click directly on the tile now, it will disappear. Nice. And if we click outside the world, nothing happens. Theoretically, let's go and test that. Go to the very edge of the world. Let me make myself a staircase. Cool. I can't actually click on the outside of the world, can I? Never mind, because our camera can't see that far. Anyway, we are now destroying tiles, which is very nice. Placing tiles is a bit more difficult, so we'll come back to that. But yeah, very nice. Very satisfying as well, by the way. But the only thing you have to do is tile drops and stuff, which we'll think about in the I fell out the world in the next episode, I think, or some time around then.